Welcome everyone to AI Unscripted. Today I have Cassidy with me, and we're going to talk about the value of digital transformation to the organization. Cassidy, for those who don't know you, would you mind doing a quick introduction and letting the world know who you are and what you actually do?
Yeah, of course. Hi, everyone. My name is Cassidy Reid. I'm the founder of Women in Automation, and I've spent over a decade helping Fortune 500 companies unlock the true value of digital transformation, particularly through intelligent automation. I believe that at the core of digital transformation, it's not about technology itself, but really creating tangible business value and streamlining processes, enhancing decision making, and ultimately driving growth and efficiency.
Oh, I love the lean on intelligent automation because at the moment I fear if you don't put the word AI in front of something and generative AI, then we're going to get ignored and not listened to. So let's stay on generative or on intelligent. Look, I can't even say it. I'm so excited by generative AI. Lots of projects, Cassidy, though, just to your point, transformation projects in particular don't or deliver less or don't deliver what they should.
Yeah.
How do you get the companies you work with focused on delivering real tangible business value as opposed to getting excited by shiny technology that doesn't adjust the P&L in any positive way?
That's a great question, Kieran. I think that that's something we're constantly facing right now, right? And why, having someone who's more holistic and looking at the large scale digital transformation is so crucial and imperative to every organization, whether that's a consultant or someone on the team. But, a lot of executives are all hearing about generative AI right now. They're so excited about it. It's completely understandable. It's a great technology, great tool, but we need to get back to the core and the focus of what is going to be moving the needle in your organization, and is that going to be done through this technology? What is the ROI that's going to be given at the end of the day? We don't want to just plant a technology in there. Then that's going to be, it could drive greater inefficiencies potentially in the organization. So we really need to look at the holistic business case at the end of the day.
And how do we build that business case, Cassidy? Because back in the day when robotic process automation was the hottest thing on God's earth, everybody did technically what they're doing now with Gen AI and AI, which is jump in and do tons of pilots,
Mm.
set up entire teams, convince the world and themselves that this was going to be the most transformative single necessity tool only to discover that they forgot that this actually costs money, forgot to engage the business, forgot to build a proper business case around it. So what do you recommend to the companies you're dealing with so that they buy great technology that delivers immense value to their organizations?
That's a great question. Yeah. So when we talk about business value, we have to start looking beyond the technology, like we talked about. It's going to be hard, but we need to pull their focus from beyond that technology and really understanding what the current state is of the organization, its workflows, its pain points, and then mapping out that transformation strategy and making sure that it's aligned to those business goals. Digital transformation is only successful when it enhances the core business outcomes, whether that's reducing costs or improving customer experience or enabling scalability. For me, this is really where that role comes in that we were referring to. We need to start guiding organizations through that process, ensuring that any technological change, whether it's automation, AI, data-driven decision-making, is strategically aligned to optimizing their operations and, more importantly, creating measurable results.
It's that measurable piece that's key, isn't it? The
Mhm.
old adage, what gets measured gets managed, and what's get managed gets delivered. But how do you go about managing and pointing at the right thing? Let me explain that question a little bit more detail. So very often, what happens is we start projects because people feel that it's the right thing to do, but they don't put a hard metric around it. Later on, they convince themselves that customer NPS was the most important thing. It's almost like retrofitting
Yeah.
a measure to convince themselves there was value. But arguably, unless the P&L actually changes, in other
Mhm.
words, more income in or cost taken out of the P&L, then everything else is an expense. So when you're talking about measurable operational outcomes and KPIs, are you using a net reduction in staff? Are you using, cost reduction? Are you using new incomes that come into the business, cross sell, upsell, next best
Scalability.
action style stuff? What are the types of things that you would recommend people point at and measure to get real managed value?
That's such a great and pointed question. And I'm going to give you the typical consultant response where it depends, right? It depends what the organization's going after. If they are looking for headcount reduction, then, that is a way that they could reduce headcount or, reduce costs. But, I think a lot of times we're seeing just that displacement where they're not having to go after, they're not having to train new employees, and they're able to take their current staff and reallocate them into, better roles for them so they don't have to hire outwards. There's a cost savings behind that. There's a cost savings behind sunsetting systems that are no longer, right for this product and for this client. So, you can pull from a multitude of different ways, but, just to give you an example, to me, it's taking it back from the very beginning. One time, earlier in my career, I was a part of a Bridgewater $700 million back office transformation. And before we even considered automation, we had to critically assess the processes and ask, are we operating efficiently? Where are the bottlenecks? And only then could we design an automation roadmap that actually magnified the efficiency we wanted to achieve. And that's why I believe personally that, maybe this is controversial, but digital transformation can't be a technology first approach. It has to be about the people, process, and then the technology to ensure that we change and implement drives that are long-term business values.
Yeah, I might forward that with the conversation we had, and I'm delighted you answered in the way that you did. Oddly enough, it depends. I would put business, then process, then people, then technology, not necessarily in the order, just considering the group of things, because you can have the best technology, great people, but you're not delivering for the business, it doesn't make sense. Or you can have an efficient process, but if it's not delivering, it makes sense or no sense. But one thing I do see, Cassidy, is lots of people mapped current processes and then spent so long doing that and then looked at their processes and went, well, they're pretty rubbish. They're not very efficient. We've lots of manual stuff, but they never got to the promised land, the new world. How do you get them from process inertia, process mapping and death by, diagrams, to moving from understanding where we're at, but more importantly, understand where we're going to, and then closing that gap?
That's a great question, because that's something that I actually have faced multiple times in my career. And, when I was at EPAM, I was a part of creating a offering for our clients to handle this exact need where, getting lost in the process maps, you get lost in what you're trying to do, what the North Star goal is really. And so I created a way through value targeting where you can go through and look at only the activity level rather than going down to that L5, the keystroke level. Keep it at that activity level when you're doing your analysis of the organization. And that way you're actually able to, kind of look at things from a large scale and understand where are the biggest efficiencies in these processes and where the, not so much, or a later date that we're going to be looking at these certain areas in the processes. And from there, you're really able to almost create a prioritization backlog of opportunities with that, it's important to have that roadmap. But I've noticed organizations, even if you create a roadmap for them, once you've given them a list of opportunities to go after, whether it be through automation, change management, you name it, they still have that issue getting back to that roadmap. They still have that issue of completing that. So that's when I've tacked on the 30, 60, 90-day plan to make sure that we have actionable results week over week that the business can really attain and go after. And it's a great map. If you get very specific with your organization on key metrics that you're trying to hit and timelines, and report that, to your executives, to your C-suite, change will move, and change will move quickly. So that's what I've noticed.
So quick question, is it intelligent automation or artificial intelligence and generative AI, or is it digital toolkit? Where do we begin? What should we be using?
That's a great question. It depends. I think it's a full digital toolkit that is encompassing of hyperautomation and the full suite of hyperautomation.
Excellent. Cassidy, I agree with everything you said. You'd be delighted to hear, or not. But no, I'm the same thing. Look, focus on the business. Don't delve into L5 processes. You're just going into crazy detail you don't need. Focus on value, and then put your efforts, be it whatever it is in your digital toolkit, to get at that value. Bring people back to focus on it all the time. I love 30, 60, 90-day plans, holding people to account in the nicest sense. Put the KPIs, the management, the change management, the business case into place. the governance as well, and you should deliver good results with hyper automation, intelligent automation, whatever automation you call it. Who gives some monkeys about automation? Just deliver it, whatever you call it.
Exactly.